Hello everybody, DrSteveTheBrony here back with another video, Call of Duty Quickies, a type of video where I take something that I usually think of whilst playing Call of Duty and then turn it into a short video for your amusement. And this video is going to be about the theory of Call of Duty evolution. Steve's theory of Call of Duty evolution states that evolution in a Call of Duty game begins at the first few months or less, then usually comes to a stop. Then natural selection, i.e. updates, take place every month or so. Then evolution begins again for a few days, and then after the few days, it stops yet again. Now, when I say evolution, I basically mean the community evolving between the different types of weapons that they use, but we'll get deeper into that later. So, a Call of Duty game starts off with 90% or even all of its guns being used. This period is known as the community adapting stage in the Call of Duty lifecycle. During this stage, most of the weapons are being used and evaluated by the community. They are trying to see which ones are the most powerful, basically. This period lasts about a week or to a few weeks, depending on the weapons to choose from. After that, the guns used astonishingly decrease to 50% or less. During this, the community evolution stage takes place. During this stage, the guns that are quote-unquote bad and quote-unquote good have been decided mostly, but this is subject to change. Actually, it's kind of forced to change, but we'll get to that instance later. Modern Warfare 3 saw the smallest community evolution period with the smallest list of weapons as a result that were seen as good and mainly used by its players. This list included the ACR 6.8, the MP7, and the PP90 M1. That's it. That's all of them. These are the guns dominantly used by the community. That's 3 out of the 32 primary weapons, an astonishing 0.09%. That means that in Modern Warfare 3, only 9/100ths of the total weapons were dominantly used. That is insane, isn't it? After the community adapting stage, finally comes the community acceptance stage. This is a stage in a Call of Duty game where the community has finally made the list of guns that are most powerful and soon will all be used by at least 89.576% of the players in the game. Modern Warfare 3, as mentioned earlier, is notorious for having the smallest list of weapons used overall. Black Ops 2, however, is notorious for another case, which is why I added another special stage that only occurs in special cases. This is one of those rare occasions. This stage is called the Community Revision stage. During this stage, the weapons that are widely used within the game change. This can be in the forms of attachments, perk combos, etc., etc. In this case, it was with damn near everything, including weapons. When Black Ops 2 came out of the Community Evolution stage, the guns you would see the most included the M8A1, the M27, the Type 25, the SMR, mainly with select fire, Val DSW, also mainly with select fire, the MP7, the MSMC, PDW, Shecum CQB, Scorpion Evo, the Peacekeeper, DSR-50, Ballista, B-23R, TAC-50, and the Cap-40. Fairly long list for a game, perhaps the longest, but that list changed several times within Black Ops 2's evolutionary timeline. As of August 29, 2013, the list is more like FAL with select fire, MP7, PDW, Peacekeeper, MSMC, Scorpion Evo, B-23R, 870 MCS, S-12 or Saiga 12 as I call it, DSR-50, Ballista, TAC-50, Cap-40, and most recently, the AN-94. Between the times, the list was shorter and sometimes much longer, but that's evolution. Never stopping train of change and adaptation. Now to sum everything up, we get to natural selection in Call of Duty. Being the gods of this Call of Duty universe, the devs, aka development teams, release updates due to complaints or things that they notice in the game that seem wrong. These updates are what I call natural selection. I call it that because natural selection screws some people over and helps others catch a breath. Usually it helps me catch a breath, but it has cases where it has screwed me over in the past. When an update or natural selection kicks in, it forces the community to change their own personal weapons list, or change some that are removed, some that are added, some have different attachments and perk combos now. Regardless, they have to change it. To make an example, the infamous sniper patch that was put out. This caused many members of the community to get very angry with Treyarch, more specifically the big man, David Vanderhaar himself. Some people even sent death threats to him over Twitter and other social networks, but that's in a completely different story and maybe I'll cover it in another video. Another special case is what I call the community assumption case. This case states that members of the community look to the last Call of Duty game for insight on weapons. For example, the Modern Warfare 3 MP7 versus the Black Ops 2 MP7. Most people expect a clone of the Modern Warfare 3 version, but they didn't get it, you know, with the low recoil and extremely high damage. The community assumption stage can be right, but 97.376% of the time, it's wrong. Well, that's all I can give you on the matter now of over the theory of Call of Duty Revolution. No. Evolution. Remind you, this is a theory, and I will come back to it in the future to add on or remove things that need to be fixed, until I'm satisfied enough to call it a law of Call of Duty. But for now, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out previous uploads of mine, and subscribe to get updates about the channel and future videos. Thanks again for watching, and have a nice day.
Kill confirmed. I've got you. He's gone. That's a kill.
Pow! Ha ha! Search and destroy. Protect the objectives. Bomb is armed.
Sniper! Concussion out. Concussion out.
You are dead! Not a big surprise.
Threat neutralized. Changing.
Heroes y bravos, grosotobrom. Complete the mission. I am credit to team.